Good evening, my dear friends. Stories are the most important part of our life. We remember a lot of things we have learned from stories itself. Apart from reading good books, the stories which we have heard from our grandparents, our parents, from our teachers, stories has helped us a lot through ages to grow our ideas, to grow ourselves as a human being. So today, without wasting much of time, I'm going to share you a short story written by the famous Sufi saint Rumi. The story is known as The Parrot and the Grocer. There was once a grocer who owned a handsome green parrot who sang sublimely and spoke most eloquently. The parrot was not only an ideal companion but also the perfect guard for the grocer's shop. He kept watch all hours of the day and spoke amiably with the customers, entertaining them and thus increasing the grocer's sales. One day, when the grocer left the shop in the parrot's care, having gone home for lunch, a cat suddenly ran into the shop chasing a mouse, frightening the bird. As the parrot flew about in his effort to save himself, he knocked a few almond oil off the shelves, breaking them and covering himself and the shop floor in oil. Poor parrot. Not long afterward, the grocer returned and found the place in disarray. The floor slippery with oil and the parrot perching guiltily in the corner because it has broken the bottle of oil, so it was feeling very guilty. In the wink of an eye, the grocer lost his temper and hit the bird on the head with all his might. The poor bird, who was already feeling guilty and downtrodden with his clumsiness, could not bear the shame, not to mention the pain from the blow, and he instantly shed all the feathers on his head. Soon after the almond oil incident, the parrot completely stopped speaking and singing. The grocer realized how grave his mistake had been in striking the bird. Now he was remorsing that why did he strike the bird? Why did he hit the bird so badly? Not only had he lost his jolly companion, but he had also curtailed his thriving business. Having no one but himself to blame, he now felt dumbfounded that he had single-handed threatened his very livelihood. I wish I would have broken my hand, he lamented. How could I have struck my sweet-voiced bird like that? How could I behave so monstrously? The grocer began to give alms to each and every poor dervish who passed by his shop, hoping that by doing good deeds he might be forgiven. Now, by utter remorse, he started to compensate of his own acts, and his bird might again start to exercise his mesmerizing voice. After 3 days and the nights of remorse and suffering the parrot's silence, the grocer came into luck. A bald dervish walked into the shop and instantly the parrot began to speak. Did you spill bottles of almond oil too? The handful of customers in the shop were amused and smiled at the parrot, who had innocently thought that the bald man had suffered the same fate as himself. Darling little parrot, said one of the customers compassionately. Darling little parrot, said one of the customers compassionately. Never equate one action with another. One must never compare oneself to others, even though they may appear to be same on the surface. Truly, nothing is as it seems. The poor parrot actually thought, since it has got bald after throwing those oil and the bald man, he must have done something wrong. He equated them as the result of same action, but it is not. Actually, the course of action is different and maybe the results are same. So the story is teaching us, even though the consequences are same, the action behind us must not be the same. So we must stop comparing ourselves and comparing the incidents which appears to be same. So thank you. Wish you have liked the story. If you have any valuable suggestions, please do write it in my comment box. Thank you and have a blissful time. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Good night.